Let me give you more reasons to follow the homie Sil for the latest news, scoops and moves he's about to reveal. From coffee talks to special brews, I'm out of burgers for meals. A cup of bourbon with that tea that's about to get spilled. Like, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. Take out your pen and paper, sit down and take notes. Sil is the realest among imposters, scavenging cutthroats. So, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One of a show. Let's go. Between DC and Marvel, they both have a startle. Disney's moving finicky, let's not mention Star Wars. All these movie execs be drunk off that power, disconnected from the fans in the ivory towers. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. When they keep making the same mistake, that's what you call insanity. They can't even acknowledge their self-inflicted calamity. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One of a show, let's go. Scoop Senator, Coffee Talks, also covering analytics, making his own reviews, cause it's always been the critics. They clout chasers, money driven, repeating the latest gimmick. Come over to Sil Nation where true vision is given. Listen, what's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. Let's not forget Mikey's son, always special to the crew. From day one when him and Sil got together for special brew. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One of a show, I guess I finish on this note. When the niggas go flip mode, they turn gremlins, I'm Gizmo. Come from my people, my kinfolk. For them I ride for and kill for. With this till I'm skillful, it can really escalate till it all goes abysmal. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. I'm a watchman, forever vigilant, steady watching and listening, disciplined, militant, killing these dudes that started visiting. What's the latest word? Yo, Sil, we need to know. Tell us what you heard. Yo, Sil, we need to know. The ins and outs, who's walking out, buying in. We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One of a show, let's go.
What's good? What's good? This is the special Wednesday edition of the podcast. It's James Gunn out. Is it just wishful thinking from some people? I don't know. We're going to find out today, but we got a few topics to touch on. Of course, y'all see my guest today, one of the big time contributors to the platform, Jules. Welcome to the Wednesday show. Am I still muted? Okay. Yeah. So Jules is here. We got, again, a lot to talk about with these rumors. Is some of it kind of true? So it just a spoiler alert. Some of it is kind of true. Some of it is kind of embellished.
A little here, a little there.
I was told a little bit about the Paramount structure we're going to talk about today, how they expect to come into the building. All right. So, but just overall, is James Gunn out? That's what we're going to talk about today and the possibilities. Much love to Sil Nation. Shout out to the chat. I see Music City Soul, Amari, Adrian. What's good with you, man? Kevin Davis. We'll touch on different comments as well. Dan the man. Looking forward to all y'all feedback with this because this is an interesting topic. So before we get into this, we had a little leak today out there, Jules, and you got a chance to see it before the stream.
Oh, the leak, yep.
The Green Lantern lanterns leaked.
Lanterns. No green here.
Lanterns leaked, and the trailer's out there. It was supposed to come out. It was like a little teaser they put out early this morning. The full trailer is supposed to come out tomorrow, but then the entire trailer leaked out today. Now, we're not going to play it. But I guess just from what you've seen, Jules, since we know you got a chance to see it, what just initial thoughts? Lantern's trailer.
Initial thoughts are the same as the initial thoughts that I had when we had little clips here and there and set footage and set clips. What do you call them? Static photos of the set. Basic. This is that's ridiculous. I don't know. It's Forest Ranger over here. This is supposed to be the Green Lantern or Lanterns. This is a cosmic crew, right? They're supposed to be out in space, but for some reason we have him on the Hulk's old dirt road. If you're old enough to probably know what I'm talking about, just going through the desert with the other new Green Lantern or Lantern. It's just there's nothing exciting about it. You have this cosmic entity fighting street level thugs. What are we doing?
That's funny. Music City in the chat, he said, it definitely leaked. Now they're just owning it. They're like, okay, it's out now. The trailer's out now, y'all. It leaked.
Yeah, they had to. They had no choice. I mean, it was an official trailer that was leaked. Like, it had the HBO word marks and everything. Like, they had no choice.
So now I trust Music City's judgment. So if he's saying it's official now, then we're going to go ahead and pull it up real quick and watch it together. The Lanterns trailer is no longer leaked, is now official. So let me get this set up here. But this suit, just real quick, there's a lot of talk online about the lack thereof of the suit.
I don't know why people are surprised, though. I mean, they wanted to MCUify the DC universe, and that's exactly what we're getting. We brought in Gunn from the MCU, from Marvel. All the suits at Marvel look pretty basic with way too many lines, and they all look like crap. And that's exactly what is happening now in his DCU. All the suits look very basic. They look like crap, too many lines, a lot of plastic, some leather, I think. I don't know if that's real leather. Like they all look terrible, so I don't know if people are still complaining. You should be expecting this type of quality because that's all we've been getting.
Like this suit, I mean, just from the comics, the Earth One comic run, if people know that run out there, is sort of the style of that suit. But as I was saying before we started recording, there's one thing for the comic book style, you got to translate it properly to live action. And that's what is lacking here. And
that's where it goes back to creativity. You can still have a suit with certain lines and just like borrow stuff from the comics, but it's all about execution, knowing what the right materials to use and how to place them to make these patterns where it doesn't look cheap and cheesy like this. So big fat L on the design team, whoever worked on this.
Just on the entire design team.
Who approved this?
I mean, they're just doing this whole strip down thing that I'm not sure if this is landing, saying early with this, but
no.
So let's pull this up here. I don't know if do I have my shield for this? I don't know if that'll work. We'll kind of do it like that. We'll kind of jank it up a little bit. Like yeah, okay. So Lanterns trailer. Let's check this out together.
You're not
ready. We'll go back a little bit.
With all due respect, we've been training for what, 2 months? And I haven't even worn the ring yet.
I'm already upset. Like I'm.
Well, I'm glad this is not the 2 months of just him training with no ring, because that would have been really boring.
Like, very grounded, right? That's the main thing that's coming across.
This is like a cop buddy movie kind of thing or series, which I personally do not like those. Like this is a very niche demographic that's really into those cop buddy movies, and I guess that's who they're gearing towards.
Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll kill Hal off. I think he will probably want to just be killed off on his shows at this point.
I mean, just based on the casting alone, I don't see him being like a cinematic Hal Jordan. This is never getting that far, but my whole point is,
Yeah, this ain't touching cinema. I don't think we're going to see Lanterns like these versions. I don't think it's going cinematic. Money shot.
That's so bad. Oh my god.
Money shot.
Like there's no power in that execution whatsoever. It's like he's floating and then he has to like work his way up. Look at that.
It's very Mary Poppins like. I will give it that.
From an umbrella.
but hey, it's something. They're giving us something here.
They're showing us that it's not 100% grounded. There are some type of superpowers being used. Whether it's being executed well or not, it doesn't really matter.
So it's been said that you may get some cosmic stuff towards the end of the season, but again, do we trust that overall? But says, we could see Jon Stewart's lanterns in the Justice League if they ever do one with this version. I think that's why they're introducing them. Well, I'm not going to trust that.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that more later.
Yeah, I'm not going to trust that.
Oh, Murph, a regular civilian.
He just destroyed it with the power ring. Yeah. The squirrel, and this is why I said on my initial reaction, I had on Twitter. It's like these name drops and Easter eggs, they're not what they used to be. Like, oh, he said the squirrel. Like, it's like, I really don't care. If you're not showing, anything. What episode does Guy Gardner show up? I wonder. Yeah, so this is weird. At the end, he's saying it was all other aliens, but what about Guy Gardner? Like, he exists.
Is he already Green Lantern at this point?
Like, right, is this before Superman? After? Like, what's going on? And really, before Superman, and this is how you get caught up in these trying to do this cinematic world. He put the Justice Gang in Peacemaker season 2, like the shot where it had Superman and Supergirl with the Justice Gang, and Guy Gardner was there before Superman movie, right? So it's just the time is all messed up. That's all I'm saying. The time is all messed up with that.
I mean, they might bring him in just to give the fans something, I guess. I don't know. Is that exciting to anyone?
I mean, maybe, I don't know, but it's like I said, the grounded approach can work if it's, it ends up being good performances. If anyone saw the Wonder Man series, though it's probably not highly, I don't know, it probably don't have the big numbers, Wonder Man, but it's actually a good show. It's actually like good entertainment, right? So performance based, and it wasn't a lot of action in it either. So it's all I'm saying is that we've seen a show that can be done. It's just I don't want the Lanterns to be done like that. That's all. That's
no. I think we all want better for the Green Lanterns. That's such a big IP that is they've been shelving it because they're like, no, we have plans for years. And now they finally do something with them, and this is what we get.
Yeah. So that's I can understand people being a little underwhelmed, but like I said, a grounded show can be good. It's about execution. But Bobby says here, any hint to the comic storyline they're adapting? Couldn't tell from the trailer. Well, Gunn's taking pieces of stuff, but all I know is the Earth One influence as far as the suit. As far as like the actual story, it's kind of more of an original take there. So yeah, it's definitely a reason why they're in this, rural town or wherever. It's an inciting event that, causes them to go there. And then I think it's like some original story stuff. So we'll see with that. Because if they're taking the real story, then you got to go cosmic. Just saying.
Yeah.
So that's the Lantern show. And Jules is copyrighted for a reason. Let's see, but interesting. It's kind of goes into the conversation today. We're talking about James Gunn and the rumors. There's actual rumors out there for months. People act like these rumors just came out like this week. But John Campea probably pushed him over the edge because he was talking about what he was thinking. But it's been talked about for months that James Gunn, will he survive this merger, right, with Paramount? Because I think, Jules, we talked about like if Netflix would have won this, I think Gunn would have been relatively safer.
Yeah,
with Netflix, right? With Paramount, and we'll talk to what we're expecting for their structure going forward. It's a few execs actually not as safe as I thought they were, and we'll touch on that as well. So let's get into, before we get to the James Gunn stuff directly, let's catch up on some Paramount, which is kind of, I guess, related. But Paramount, they just had an earnings call, Jules. I don't know if you caught this on your timeline, but David Ellison made a few statements about what he's expecting, and not the trailer again, what he's expecting and his approach for this. I don't know if that's coming up good for you, but
yep, I can see it.
Okay, so anything that kind of stands out to you? Again, he's talking about the app, the HBO Max, Paramount combining, the theatrical windows, and so forth. Anything jumps out to you? What he stated there?
Yeah, I mean, like I kind of mentioned on the stream on Saturday, like we talk about a lot of these things, or we've foreshadowed a lot of these things coming. You can call us oracles or whatever, but we're really not surprised by a lot of this. HBO Max and Paramount Plus combining into one service, duh. No one's gonna fund two different apps. Just put it all in one. And like I
Well,
said, hopefully they come up
except
with
Netflix. Netflix would have did it separate.
for a time, but I think eventually they
Yeah.
would have gotten to the point where they would just have one app.
Mhm.
15 films per studio with a 45-day theatrical window. They have mentioned this for months. That's nothing new. And like we touched upon, like this is the best case scenario for cinema. Everyone should be excited about that. And 15 films per studio won't happen on day one, obviously, because these films actually take years to produce. But eventually by like year 3, I can definitely see them, like year 3
Mhm.
after the acquisition, they should be hitting, these numbers.
Right.
The debt, we all know about the debt. It doesn't matter who bought the company, there was going to be debt. So that's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Because you was inheriting a lot from Warner Bros. Just right
Right.
off the jump. So
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, like how you call him, Daddy Ellison, he has pocket full of cash. That's not a big deal for him.
Yeah.
$6 billion in cutting costs. They've been in cost cutting. They've been saying that forever. So whatever.
Firing, chopping blocks.
Yeah, I mean, and this again, the synergy. When you have mergers and acquisitions, you're not going to be paying 2 people for one job. So that's normal. Everyone does that. No plans to sell off the cable assets. We knew that. Flexibility to put sports like UFC on any cable network. Now that's kind of a big one, which is a surprise to me. Now they have a lot more flexibility because they have all these different cable networks, and you can expand the reach of the UFC to like basic channel. They put it on CBS if they want to, or
Well, think of what Disney's doing now with the ESPN events, where they put it on ABC and they also have it on ESPN. So that's what they Paramount could do, just in, in relatively like CBS and on the
and
Paramount
that's a great
app
comparison.
and HBO.
Yeah, that's a great comparison because Disney has been a behemoth in Hollywood for years, especially when they went on this acquisition spree, a few years ago. So this is, and everybody complains about that, right? Like no one can compete with Disney. Well, now you have a company that can actually compete with Disney.
Well, now we don't want no one to compete.
Right, exactly.
Because I don't like David.
Right. Whatever. It is what it is. Licensing movies and TV shows to other studios and platforms, that's an easy way to bring in some cash. And AI being used as a tool for artists and not a replacement for storytellers. I think that's exactly how AI should be used. That's how we use it on a daily basis, the people that do use it. AI cannot replace real art. It can't replace real storytelling. It's not there yet for the most part. Like it's all about what prompts you put in. You really have to understand how to work with the tool. It's a tool, right? It's the same way how a paintbrush is a tool, your pencil is a tool. It's just going to do what you say. It just makes the process a lot easier.
Right. Yeah. And like you said, there's a lot of topics that we touched on last week. Our last conversation that everyone loved because we covered a wide range. And I think we really addressed, again, certain issues people may have thought they have with this Paramount deal, right? And we'll touch on some more. But one thing I want to, this past week, I've been covering a lot of information with Paramount, and I've been getting very loud. People have been getting mad at me online. People that favor Netflix or something, as we call them, Netflix influencers. They were just so caught up on Netflix,
on their hashtags,
only winning when I made it very clear. We both made it very clear we favored the Paramount deal for a number of reasons.
We've been consistent for months.
Yeah, and if the reality is that Netflix would have got it, then I wouldn't have been. It's like, okay, I'm not gonna be bitter about it. We do a reality, but a lot I was talking about with the Paramount structure and how it will look at DC and things like that. One, I guess, adjustment I want to kind of put out there. Well, first off, David Ellison said he's going to be ready next year with 15 movies from Paramount. So they're trying to hit the ground running.
And they can because they're already there at Paramount. That Skydance and Paramount merger recently closed last year. So they had a jump start to those 15 films.
Yeah. So like you said, this year is kind of, status quo, but the next year they're definitely trying to ramp up, and they're going to be expecting Warner Brothers to ramp up. Like, people got to realize Paramount coming in, David Ellison supersedes all of Warner Bros., including Zaslav. So David Ellison will be calling the shots. Of course, once this deal closes, right?
Yep.
He will be determining everything. So it don't matter who was Zaz's favorite boy over there in Warner Brothers or what he actually wants. if it's not in the contract, David Ellison's like, okay, this is what's going to happen now. You're going to put out 15 films. You're going to need to. And I think DeLuca and Abby are going to step up, for
Absolutely.
the Warner Brothers side,
Yeah,
with
and then an important point of the $6 billion in cost cutting is the corporate overheads. So while they might be cutting corporate white collar jobs, a lot of those blue collar jobs, those on-set jobs, that's going to create a lot more jobs if they're looking to make 30 films a year. So I think those jobs are probably more important than the high six-figure salaries at a desk all day pushing buttons.
But definitely what's been reiterated to me recently is David Ellison. He really is serious about this, Warner Brothers remaining Warner Brothers. And as far as just the creatives, and we're talking about the top, DeLuca, Abdi, you want them to, keep rolling. I mean, they had a record, 2025. So you don't want to mess with that too much. And of course, Paramount, he has his people in place this past year getting into place. But the DC part, so I know I've been teasing a lot online, like, is this the end of DC Studios? I was getting a little hype about the James Gunn stuff. So what was told to me was like, calm down on saying DC Studios is done. But because David Ellison wants that structure still. He wants when a DC film comes out that it has that Warner Brothers logo and the DC logo. So he's actually all for that. And so now one thing that people saw without saying online, let me kind of pull this up as I'm saying this, because it's all going to kind of tie together. It is true what's been reported, and like I said, it's been out there that Paramount has their own ideas for DC films, right? But what's going to happen, since David Ellison's over everything, his people are going to go to Warner Brothers and say, hey, make this. That's how that's going to work. Because I was kind of so hyped talking about this past week of the possibilities. I was like, man, Paramount could just come out with a DC film itself and just cancel DC Studios. And it was like, calm down. Like, that's not how that's going to work. Ellison's going to call the shots, and he's going to tell them, hey, take this to DeLuca and Abby, or if someone's in place still with DC, whoever replaces Gunn if he leaves, and be like, hey, make this movie. Like, it's not a question. Like, this not a democracy. Like, you're going to make this movie. That's kind of how that's going to work in the structure. So Warner Bros. Will remain how it is right now with DeLuca and Abdi. There still will be a DC Studios, and we'll talk about the Gunn part in a little bit. But any ideas that Paramount has for DC, they're just going to, again, tell DC to do it. That's how that's going to work.
Yeah, I mean, as rumor has it, they've already been reaching out to creators and directors. So there might be a lot of handshake deals going on where once that deal closes, they already know that they're coming in and they're going to start that 15 film slate like immediately with a lot of those handshake deals.
So this is going to make it interesting. If he wants to come off the ground running, is he going to impose some expectations for DC? Like, hey, of those 15, I'm going to need 2 DC films a year or something like that.
Yep.
We'll kind of see. And if he's working with Gunn or not, again, just making it very clear, Ellison, he's not destroying DC Studios. Some overzealous thinking out there about that. But he is going to be, again, saying, hey, he's going to be more hands-on than Zazev. So there's not going to be as much autonomy with DC as they have right now. Like if they say, if Gunn comes up and like, oh, I want to do this authority film, and David Ellison and his people be like, no, we ain't doing no authority film. You better do a Wonder Woman. Like, what are you doing? Like,
right. We want the heavy hitters, not the little list characters.
Yeah. So that's just an example how that's going to work. So, so I want to. That's one of the things I had to address today, because I was talking a little reckless this past week about dissolving DC Studios. They like chill on that. So, this question here by Adrian. How come there are talks of this merger potentially going through at a much faster pace than even compared to Discovery to WB merger? Good question. And actually, I have this, where are we at here? And it says here, they're expecting by the third quarter. So about 6 months from now, they're expecting this to close. Now, the regulatory process will be relatively more easier for Paramount than it would have been for Netflix, because, again, of the whole monopoly thing, right, Jules? That's kind of what the difference is.
Yeah, so basically all the lawyers that they hired, they understand this process very well because they actually used to work in the government body. So they know exactly what the regulators are looking for. So they basically put all those documents together ahead of time, so they can look at it immediately. They're probably not going to have a trial, whatever they call that, a deposition like they did with Ted Sarandos, which will just hasten the whole process.
Well, they're already past that relatively.
Yeah.
They don't have to have that little grilling that
Right.
Serenos was like in a deer in the headlights. I was like, I felt sorry for him. I was like, man, I'm kind of.
I mean, that's always nerve-wracking when you're in those positions.
Yeah, it was just some nonsense they were throwing at him too. Like that was kind of crazy what they were saying. But so like I said, the structure thing, we're gonna keep an eye on that going forward. And again, we're expecting this to close relatively early. I say at the latest, though, I say early next year. If there's a couple snags here or there, by the beginning of 2027, they'll be moving their furniture in there, so to speak.
Yep.
Now, this just came out yesterday that Paramount, again, expected to overcome the regulatory hurdles despite DOJ probe. The federal is not really going to hold this up. State level, you may have some little,
well, some people in
there.
California already came out talking crabs. And one state is not going to hold up the whole deal. It's not going to make the deal die.
And they're going to try to get other states to jump in, more Democratic states. And I hate this becoming a political thing, but we just want to briefly address it. That it's kind of like some of these Democratic states, they're kind of expected to just at least try to put up a fight because they're not going to have any federal backing. And so it's going to pass. I mean, I
it's
really
kind of
don't
like
see anything stopping it.
It's kind of like in the streets when, like, if you're going to fight somebody and he's a Democrat, he ain't going to fight by himself. There's going to be other Democrats around and you're going to get jumped. So good luck.
That's just that's just
how it is.
This is gang activity. This is literally what this is. You got the red gang, the blue gang. Right now, the blue gang is trying to put up a fight.
Yeah, and this did not happen back then when Disney was merging with Fox. Like it kind of went through with like no hurdles.
Yeah. Just like Amari says here. I don't remember this much a fight. I mean, I thought did they try to put up a fight with the Time Warner, AT&T?
I think the only thing was that they couldn't buy the networks, which I think Fox wanted to keep the networks anyway, and they did.
Yeah. So it's going to be some concessions here or there. That's what this time is for.
Yep.
To kind of trim off what they need to, and then all intents and purposes, by the beginning of 2027, Ellison's going to be in the building overseeing Warner Brothers and Paramount. So that's just the likely conclusion. So what does this mean? Well, before we get to again what this means for certain execs, let's touch on this real quick. That the Saudi connection that we've continued to talk about, it was a leaked deal. And actually, do I even have that screenshot? I touched on this like 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean it leaked back then, so we knew that was the case.
As it says here now, the terms of this, and I repeat this every video just for clarity, because people are they're trying to be confused what this means with the Saudis, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi being a part of this. According to the leaked deal, that scenario was each of them, of course, they would put in about $8 billion apiece, billion with a B, Arab money, and then each of the three would get an IP. That's what it says right here. They would get an IP, a movie premiere, and a movie shoot. That's the terms of their deal. So they're going to have, and as it says here, they're concerned with soft power influence. They're trying to do more global business, Jules, right? And that's really what this is about. It happens more than people probably realize. So the Saudis, they bought EA, Electronic Arts. They own an American business, and they do WWE events over there, different events coming. So this is just them flexing some more. And what stood out to me with this, Jules, again, is they can get an IP, meaning they can use.
Yeah. The interesting thing is each of the three. So you have an IP for Saudi Arabia, another IP for Qatar, another one for Abu Dhabi. So what three IPs are they all going to be buying for? And that's the interesting part. We kind of have an idea of what Saudis like.
I have an idea. I actually have a fleeting idea what the Saudis would do.
I mean, somebody might want Transformers, another one might want Harry Potter. Whatever. There's a bunch of IPs to choose from.
Yeah. So that's why the hype is there. Not just purely, they know Zack Snyder. That's big enough, I think, that they're doing the Brawler film. Zach is actually cool with this dude, Turkey Al-Sheikh. But then also too, they are minority stake owners in Warner Brothers, which owns DC, and per terms of their deal, they can use an IP. So I mean, I don't know how else can I add this up for people? Like,
Right. Yeah.
This is why we're excited about their involvement.
If you put the puzzle pieces together, it kind of makes a pretty clear picture. You might still have a couple puzzle pieces missing. It's not full, but it's kind of obvious.
That's why the hype is there. Now, again, and a few things I want to say. Like, are we, 100% guaranteeing? No, but our chances are really good with this scenario as far as Snyderverse. That's what we're talking about. Is something already signed? Did I hear anything personally? No, I have not heard that they are already ready to go with the Snyderverse. But
they physically can't sign anything in an agreement because they don't own anything. But again, like I mentioned earlier, there could be a handshake deal that's happened. Sure. They're going to hit the ground running on this, whatever they decide.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, like, unofficial talks parties has happened, for several things here. So not surprised by that. But I just know our chances are better with all that lined up there compared to if Netflix would have got this. And again, we're talking about Zack Snyder directly. What's the next Zack Snyder project on Netflix, Jules? Have we heard about anything?
Last time I checked, there was nothing.
Okay. My point exactly. Like, because if it's about Zack, and if they already if they already have announced, like, oh, Zach's about to do the LA SWAT film with Netflix, I'm like, yo, let's go. Like, Netflix, let's get DC, let's get the Snyderverse back over there on Netflix, right? But last we heard, they didn't want to do any Zack Snyder projects.
All the Zack Snyder supporters at Netflix are gone. And once that person departed, we saw the switch up on Snyder and his projects. Regardless if his projects did well, which they did, they got a lot of engagement, which apparently that's all Netflix cares about. They weren't happy enough, and they just aren't bringing him back for projects. They already declined a lot of his projects with their first look deal, and he had to go shop it elsewhere.
Exactly. Like, they turned down, like, Zack Snyder has a first look, well, Stone Quarry has a first look deal with Netflix, and they basically, they say, we don't want to pay you the proper money to do LA SWAT, and we don't want your last photograph film. That's crazy. Like, that's,
and then we're all like low budget,
right? But that's the perfect place for Zack Snyder. I'm sorry, like, this is nonsense.
I mean, he made 300 on like a minuscule budget, and it became a worldwide sensation. Like, this guy knows how to work with budgets.
And we're talking, like you said, with Netflix, is about engagement. Zack Snyder brings eyes to the lovers of Zack, the haters of Zack. You're going to get engagement with Zack Snyder, and Netflix turned it down. So
it's fine because they also got turned down by the WBD shareholders. So
so, all the shots for Netflix. But, and again, if they were treating Zack right, this would be a totally different conversation.
Absolutely.
They just haven't. And those, Netflix influencers, like, I'm sorry, I don't know how you can argue something's coming up for Zack when we haven't heard nothing in a couple years, right? So that's one thing. And then I want to make another statement clear here is that, and I'll speak for myself, but I'm just going to kind of act like I'm speaking for Jules, but we are not saying like we're pledging allegiance to Paramount. It is the fact that this is the best scenario, again, to restore the Snyderverse. Now, there's going to be some, other advantages. Like, I'm going to love to see if they get 30 films out in 1 year, right? That's going to be great for theaters, right? But if Paramount messes up, like if they all of a sudden ghost Zack Snyder for some reason, then they're going to get the same smoke that we're giving to Netflix right now.
Yep, absolutely.
So
we're right down the middle. We're not going to be, touting tooting any horns or raising anybody's flags. Like, everybody can get the smoke. Like, it don't matter.
So we're just making it clear, like, we're not out here being Paramount influencers or even Saudi influencers. They got to follow through too. Everyone has to play their part, or they're gonna get capped too. So overall, just right now, Netflix is getting the smoke because they just, it's like, come on now, like, y'all had Zack in the building and y'all fumbled that.
Yeah, you let him go.
So that is what it is. And like I said, the Saudis influence is there. And so that's been established. Why are we so hype about that? Because y'all saw the terms of the deal. So so now we're waiting for the deal to close and be official. And that's going to be very interesting. Now, a part of that earnings call, Jewel, I'm dying to get your take on this. A part of the Paramount earnings call, David Ellison was going through, the rigmarole of blah, blah, blah numbers from last year. And, we're looking forward to this merger with Warner Brothers, expectations. And then he shouted out successful projects from 2025. Warner Brothers had a record-breaking year, right? $4.4 billion in theater gross worldwide. And Ellison here is talking about what he credited for that. So let me pull that up real quick, because according to what he's saying here, Gunn fans are saying this is guaranteeing that James Gunn is going to stay, Jules, actually. So let's play this for you. It's real quick.
Warner Brothers Pictures delivered a powerhouse slate last year with Superman, Minecraft, and Sinners, propelling the studio past $4 billion in box office.
So that was pretty brief, but according to this clip, people are claiming that David Ellison only praised Superman.
Yeah. I mean, people are grasping at straws. We know that they're desperate for something to hold on to. So we really can't be too rough on them a little bit. But who cares? We're going to be. They're stupid. Whatever. You can't pay them any mind. Like, clearly, Ellison was just naming the biggest IPs of 2025, right? Doesn't mean that they were great successes. Ted Sarandos told us pretty black and white that Superman was underwhelming, and they took it out of the theaters early due to that reason.
Now, that's not fair, Drew. That's not fair to bring up what Sarandos said. Again, this clip.
Just another CEO in the industry doesn't know what he's talking about again. He looked at the books, but, he's probably not that great at putting numbers together.
But to be fair, Minecraft, obviously, over 900 million. We don't even have to discuss what Sinners did. There was an anomaly. That's why
that was a whole phenomenon.
Yeah, I think like with Sinners, no one should compare anything. Like, well, Sinners did this, and just don't compare nothing to what that did. It made 46 million the first week and 44 the second week. Unheard of, where you don't even drop more than 90%.
Yeah, like plateau.
So stop comparing that. Yeah, don't stop. And so Minecraft, again, did this thing. Now, to be fair, of the 2025 Warner Brothers films, these are actually the top three. Superman actually did make the top three for Warner Bros. Worldwide box office 619, which they found some money under the couch.
$20 million all of a sudden, almost a year later.
Okay. So 624, top three. And I really believe this is all that Ellison was doing, was just reading off. And I'll just kind of play it again real quick.
He is obviously
Warner Brothers Pictures delivered a powerhouse slate last year with Superman, Minecraft, and Sinners, propelling the studio past $4 billion in box office.
Yeah, and so from that clip, though, Jules, people are saying this is giving confidence to James Gunn. What do you say to that?
He's just naming off the big IPs from 2025, their successes and whatever names that people know and recognize. That's all this is. Again, the end of the day, it's all about the IP and name recognition. And in 2025, these are their films that have the most name recognition. So of course he's going to name all three of them. Yeah.
I think this was actually a good form by David Ellison, where just let's hit the numbers. Hey, this made enough money. Did we expect Superman 2025 to do more? Well, Ted Sarandos told you that. They actually expected more. But it is what it is. It's in the top three. I'm going to give it that credit. Now, I don't see that being some vote of confidence. I don't believe that.
Well, we already know, based on the whole contract situation, there's not much confidence there.
Yeah, for sure. And Dave Miller here, shout out to Dave Miller, says Bloomberg is reporting that Paramount's planning to keep Gunn and see how the current slate of films does. Now, I don't know if this is a new article, but I've been on the train, and we'll get to what Campia said, because I think it's ridiculous what Campia was saying.
Yeah.
I believe with James Gunn being in the last year of his contract, that it's a good chance they just don't resign him.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty clear, and this happens a lot in these types of situations. The obvious heavy hitters and the winners, they're going to get long-term contracts immediately, no questions asked. But those that, new ownership might have some questions or concerned about, they'll give them a minimal extension. That way, by the time the new owners come in, they can decide what to do with that contract, and it doesn't fall on the current owners. This happens all the time in all different types of projects in all kinds of different industries. So, yeah, I don't know. We're probably going to touch on this later, so I don't want to go back too much into it.
Yeah, but yeah, just in general, I think, you saw what happened with DeLuca and Abdi, where they were approaching their last year of their contract. Now, obviously, they came from a record-breaking year, right? That's one thing, but they were given a multi-year extension to go beyond this merger. I think DeLuca and Abdi are going to be there at least to 2028. And then, of course, on their merit, if they get re-signed before then, we'll see. We'll see what they do under the merger. Gunn and Safran, their original contract was up to October 2026. And they were given an extension of 6 months. They'll be April 2027. So that's why that seems a little shaky. You were able to extend DeLuca and Abdi beyond. You weren't able to do that for Gunn and Safran. That's why people are wondering if they're going to survive this merger. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Fernando says, always making excuses against Gunn. How many hits besides 300 do Snyder have? What?
Literally all the Snyder movies were hits. They all made a bunch of money. Like, I think the only ones was Guardians of Gahul, and that one wasn't even marketed that well. So, yeah. I mean, you gun chills really need to like go online, do some research before you start spewing bullshit. Sorry, like this is nonsense.
I think the main thing, and I want people, just like with the Saudis thing, I want to kind of restate what we're saying just to make it very clear. James Gunn got a 6-month extension. DeLuca and Abdi got a multi-year extension. That's why there's question marks of James Gunn being retained.
If they were confident in his ability to produce, then they would have given him also a multi-year contract, because clearly they believe in DeLuca and Abdi. The new owners, whoever that might be, will be fine with them getting multi-year extensions. But for some reason, Gunn did not get the same treatment. Why is that? They love him so much that they decided to not give him an extension. That doesn't quite add up.
And anytime I ask someone, because, on Twitter, people getting their feelings, when I'm like, hey, all I'm saying is the man's got a 6-month extension. Like, I got a question. If he comes up and get an extension, then what can I say to that? Like, okay, you got an extension.
Yeah, the writing is on the wall. This is a time to prove yourself. That's what this tells people. Like, if you are a person who only got a 6-month extension, everybody else around you got multiple years.
You're like, dang.
Yeah, like it's time for you to show out or step out. Like, that's it.
I'm just saying. So that's why the speculation is there. It's not to create something that's not there. We're just looking at his contract. Right. So now, as far as what we kind of already touched on, as far as Paramount, we know the theater owners, they love that Paramount got this as opposed to Netflix. We got here Cinemark CEO glad Paramount won over Warner Brothers, and the reasoning is the relationship that Paramount has with theaters, or really the lack thereof. Relationship that Netflix didn't have with theaters, and all of a sudden it's supposed to just become these theater people. The industry didn't trust it, and we covered that very extensively before the deal was even signed.
Yeah,
that this is why, again, people wanted Paramount.
All the filmmakers came out basically talking about it. The Actors Guild came out talking about it. They didn't want Netflix. They knew how dangerous that would be to the industry. So everyone is excited about this, except those that have their own biased takes.
Yeah, and so I think a lot that we was leaning on while we were still holding on to Paramount. If y'all saw the last couple of videos me and Jules did, like we was like, well, if Netflix gets it, but hopefully Paramount, because the Directors Guild was against Netflix, or at least questioning it. The Actors Guild, except Mark Ruffalo, was against it, and theater owners, theater exhibitors. So, and now that, again, Ellison, his first statement after the signing the deal was saying 15 films from Paramount a year, 15 from Warner Brothers. That both films did a combined 20 last year. So this is the confidence in theaters. This is what they wanted out of this Warner Brothers deal, with someone who will push more theatrical projects. So
yep.
So that's that with that. Just want to make sure I covered it.
And that's also more jobs for theaters, more jobs for filmmakers, whatever. If they're a mic guy, whatever, a camera guy, people on set, more costume makers, whatever. Like, this is more jobs for everyone. This is more projects. So while they might be cutting corporate white collar jobs, on the actual field, there will be more jobs for people. So that's a plus.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, more productions, more jobs with that.
Yep.
You know, now right now, and I said, I think I remain very consistent with all this is that, you know, again, while we're pushing for Paramount, there's obviously selfish reasons, but also to the theater experience, we do want to see someone saying more films in theaters and holding to a window, a theatrical window.
Yep.
No funny stuff saying, oh, maybe it's 17 days, maybe it's
that's insane. Less than a month to go see a movie.
Crazy. Right?
We all have busy lives. Like, be for
real. So, you know, but Ellison, he has to deliver. Because again, we don't mind giving him smoke when if he comes out and be like, you know, I thought 15, maybe just 10 would do. Then it's like, bro, you were selling us a a fake can of goods.
Right.
If you pull
just
back
saying
on the
anything,
so,
he was just saying anything to get the deal through.
He sound like Netflix. They were saying anything. They would say, man, Sarandos is saying everything. Bro, I was like, man, this dude, he's making this up as he goes. But theaters must survive. Another reason why I'm glad Netflix didn't win. And yeah, I mean,
simple concept.
Yeah, I have a couple reasons why I didn't want Netflix to win, but the main one was, you know, I mean, obviously the relationship with Zack Snyder. I mean, this channel, the core of my channel, we're Snyder fans, so we're going to look at that. But the theater experience is high up there as well as far as why I'd rather Netflix not get this. So yeah. Yep. So that is what it is with that. Dave says, I don't think Campy is wrong. We'll touch on it. I know everyone's ready to talk about the gun stuff, but before we get to that, there's a scenario right now with Paramount, you know, again, waiting for this to close. And we know that the synergies and the $6 billion, they want to have that down probably before it closes. You're going to start hearing some firings actually, just according to what's being said, before this fall. They're going to just be like, okay, we're wiping out this division or whatever happens with that. So just keep that in mind. There's been word that a lot of people under Warner Brothers, they felt more comfortable with Netflix because, again, less hands-on, right? And this is going to kind of lead us to the James Gunn in just a moment. But according to what's being said, Netflix, Ted Sarandos, when they first signed, you know, agreed to that first deal, the $82 billion or whatever, Sarandos went and visited the lot, right? Warner Brothers lot. And they were taking pictures.
How can we forget?
Selfies with Zazzle holding hands, skipping on Warner Brothers lot.
Through the lot, yeah.
And then they met with, you know, HBO execs. Everyone just felt so comfortable, like, oh, Netflix, they ain't gonna do nothing. They just gonna sign the checks and let us do our thing, right? That's what, you know, the feeling. But with Paramount, like, it's all flipped in just in a week. Like, it was one weekend, me and Jules was talking about, oh, Netflix is going to get this. And then 48 or the 72 hours later, Paramount got the superior deal. And so it was whiplash for those in Warner Brothers and HBO. Now, people may think, okay, Ellison shouted out HBO, right? He said they're doing a great job, and I want HBO to remain HBO. Yes, that's consistent with what I was saying. The adjustment they wanted me to talk about the structure is that Paramount, Ellison, he wants HBO to have that same structure. He wants it to, you know, do the Penguin and things like that. He doesn't really want to absorb that away from them. They're going to be in the same app, but HBO is going to be HBO. Just like DC, he wants DC. Again, you go to the theaters, you want to see the Warner Brothers logo, DC, right? The structure doesn't mean all the execs are going to stay, right? Like, that's the difference. You know, so again, you know, DC Studios is not going to be wiped out. HBO is not going to be wiped out.
No.
But the execs, that's going to be the question here. So just briefly in this article real quick, what happens to HBO? According to just this insider, they're saying Casey Bloys stormed out of the office when Paramount won. They said when the word came down that last Thursday that Netflix ended its pursuit, Casey Bloys walked out of the office and proclaimed it's over. Now, that's ambiguous what that's supposed to mean. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but they're saying that HBO, again, was more nicer to the execs. Now, people want to throw the whole Trump connection and stuff like that. I really don't want to get into that right now. But, you know, if you had a better offer or a better deal, Netflix should have matched it or did better. So don't blame Trump on that one. But what's your initial thoughts that, again, this is just according to what they're saying, is David Ellison has yet to reach to any people in HBO, Warner Brothers TV. All their contracts are coming up. Ellison told Analysis that he plans to give HBO autonomy even once it merges into Paramount Plus. But what he isn't committing to, Ellison, he's not committing to the execs he's giving autonomy to. like Casey Floyd's contract is up 2027. He may not be running HBO anymore now.
Yeah, similar to the whole Gunn contract situation. It's obviously structured to a point where like the new owners can come in and make those decisions. That way they're not locked into anything already that they probably don't want to pay for. Right. And again, just the whole synergy things. I'm sure there's executives at Paramount that might be able to take over HBO. But one thing that David Ellison has been consistent about are the brands, right? Warner Brothers, he wants to keep that. He's been talking about HBO. HBO is not going anywhere. That would be stupid to get rid of the HBO moniker. So HBO itself is safe. I'm sure they also want to keep intact what HBO is known for, which is high quality TV shows and productions. Good budgets, things like that. I'm sure that's still all going to be in play. This guy, Casey Blows, he's been there, 10 years now. HBO was great before him, and it can be great after him. So
I'm just saying, because again, I want to be very accurate. What we're saying is that, we're not saying DC Studios is done. We're not saying HBO is going to be obliterated. But again, the execs in those positions, that's on David Ellison if he wants to extend someone before their last year of their contract. Like, it's, once this deal closes, will he extend Casey Bloys? I don't know. I mean, he probably should, I don't know.
He might. Yeah. I mean, it all depends. They can't just act like it's the end of the world. You have to prove yourself like everyone else does.
Yeah. And as a quote here from one HBO staffer said, Ellison's statements, saying, shouting out HBO, they said it was encouraging, but basically meaningless, because we don't really have any concrete plans. We haven't heard anything. I feel like when Netflix thing happened, Casey was one of Ted Sarando's first calls. So take for that what you will, okay? with this situation. This is a different ship for what Zaslav was running. And hey, like we continue to say, Jules, this is the business side of it. Sometimes when you get these types of big mergers and deals, you may have someone in mind. He may want his Paramount person to run HBO now.
Right. You want someone that you can trust, that the quality of their work, and that they can give you the standard that you're looking for that particular brand.
Definitely. We got the super chat here from BKH3218. Hopefully that's not like a bad term or something. I'm just playing. But he says it's been 10 years of power struggles and politics. But Zach is finally back on top. You're gonna make people mad, BKH here. They're gonna get upset about you saying this, okay? I'm just letting you know.
let's be political here. It's not a done deal yet, right? So we gotta be careful. Yeah. It's not done. Like the same thing that happened when Henry announced he's back as Superman. That rug got pulled out from under us real fast. So we just need to make sure that our emotions and all that stuff are intact before and after this. So until we know that the ink, the line is signed, the ink is dry, we're not celebrating, and we're definitely not celebrating until we know for sure that Zach is back. So it's not going to happen on day one, probably not.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a reason to be excited for sure, because the road for this to happen, it had to happen this way with the choices that we had, So I'm excited saying, I'm glad Paramount is getting this over Netflix for those reasons. But yeah, we do have to want to continue to say, obviously this has to close first. And then once they start getting busy, we got to start getting some indications. But he says, I want Dark Knight Returns adaptation with Ben, Henry, and Jared Leto. I'm expecting, so this is what was said to me recently. Dark Knight Returns, the expectation is actually for that to be a totally separate thing. And so without Ben, JO2 would be, and 2 and 3 would be with Ben. That's just what's been said. So, we'll see. But I'm expecting both projects now. With Paramount, I'm expecting Dark Knight Returns.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
look, TDKR would be amazing. I don't see how they. I mean, I could see how they could do it with or without Ben, but I know Ben Affleck loves that graphic novel, and I'm
mhm,
sure he'd want to be that Batman and make that movie too.
mhm.
So I'd be surprised if they do it without him. But again, it all depends on the vision. If it's going to be like a more of an Elseworlds thing, then it would be a little confusing if it was Ben to some
Right.
normies. But I
Right.
think they can still frame it as in like, many years down the line in an alternate universe, right? Especially if
Yeah.
they eventually give us a real Flashpoint adaptation and not that crap that we just got, a couple years
Mhm. And just off Zack Snyder's own words, a recent interview with Josh Horowitz, well, I still got to cover that for the channel, that Zack is making it clear he can definitely, even though BVS alluded to Dark Knight Returns, he can literally do an adaptation though
ago.
of Dark Knight Returns, because there was only elements that he
Right.
alluded to in BVS. So I'm expecting both now. I'm just because if it was Netflix that got this, maybe we'd do Dark Knight Returns, maybe Nightmare. I wasn't too confident. It was kind of like either or
Right.
under that scenario. And then also them saying they didn't want to spend too much money anymore. That was another thing with Sarandos, was like, man, we don't have to pivot away from
They were going to
terrible
be in
deals.
way too much debt to be spending money frivolously. Like, let's be for real. Anybody that actually looked at the debt accumulation, if
No.
would
Well,
be worried.
some people act like Netflix would have had zero debt.
Yeah, they
bought
really
Warner
do.
Bros. It's like they would have had about at least 60 billion, because you're inheriting Warner Brothers, and they were
It would have
borrowing
all
like 50
been.
billion.
It would have almost all of it would have been debt. It would have been way more than what Paramount has right now, or will have once this deal closes.
So I'm just saying, like, that was the scenario. I think I still would have held out hope if Netflix could get something done. But I'm more
There's no
confident.
reason to be excited. Yeah.
More confident with the Paramount thing. So appreciate you, BK.
But anyway, imagine a Dark Knight Returns like Watchmen style quality movie. That would be amazing.
For sure. And I got these new Michael Jackson drops. I don't know if Jules saw this yet, but shout out for the super chat one time. Random, yeah. But you got the Michael movie coming out next month in April.
I was waiting for a hee.
Oh, it's in another clip. Yeah, you got that. But I got like 4 or 5 of those. But and we got another super chat. So we gotta play more Michael in just a moment here. It says, if JO 2 and 3 happens, the hard part is everyone in the JO cast has aged, so the new story would need to explain the time gap. Jules, what do you say to that?
I think Zach already said that he was going to have a new story. So yeah, everyone's going to be a little bit older, but again, movie magic, you won't even be able to really tell, except a couple of people, obviously. But like Henry still looks great. We saw him in his the Highlander or Outlander, I can't remember the name. The set pics that we saw, he still looks amazing. He can easily put the suit back on and look great on camera. And then Zach, like I said, Zach already said that he already has a script ready to go. They rewrote it. Obviously, they're going to have to talk about that time gap, which actually works perfectly because at the end of Justice League, we saw Darkseid was coming. We don't know like what his time zone is like on another planet. It can seem like a couple of weeks to him, and to us, it's been like 10 years. So it should be fine. That's very easy to work with.
Well, all I say, and like I said, much respect to BKH. Much respect as far as if you have this certain worry, but I didn't see no one worrying about Michael Keaton suiting back up.
Right.
I didn't see no one worried. They was like, "Oh, let's go, Michael, go kick some butt. I know you're 70," and it's like Ben's not gonna be 70. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and of course, they use stunt people and stuff like that. But I think Cavill still. Come on, Cavill, he doesn't age like that. I mean, he probably do his hair up or something. But
he always had a deep widow's peak anyway. So I mean, it's not like he's
balding.
A
little hairpiece
has
or
little
something.
Recede. Yeah. No one talks about how what's the guy that plays Captain America? Chris
Evans.
Chris Evans wears a fucking a wig.
We got the real jewels here. Yeah.
He wears a wig.
This is the special edition Wednesday stream.
My bad.
Smash the like. Make sure you still subscribe. Jules, you never know what you're gonna get.
And the Lanterns trailer.
You never know what you're gonna get here in the middle of the afternoon. All right, hide the kids. All right, but but no, definitely just playing. But
anyway, no one talks about his wig. Like people, like he uses the wig all the time. He doesn't even have any muscles anymore. He uses a super padded Captain America suit, and no one cares. But for some reason, they try to give Henry all this flack when he actually like puts in the time. So miss me with the BS.
Yeah, the whole age thing, like I said, Ben, he's going to be fine. Everyone else, I mean, Gal still is holding up really good. Like,
Yeah, she's
I
still
think
young.
she'll be
Just has
fine.
to work. They all just have to go back to the gym, and that's
Yeah.
it. 6 months,
So,
4 to 6 months in the gym, they're ready to go.
and now I understand this concern, though. Like, I want to make this clear. Like, I understand why it's like, will they really? But all I'm saying is, I don't have that same concern.
Yeah, don't worry about it
with that. So appreciate the super chat here. Now we'll give you the epic drop this time. We'll save the Michael for the someone else's super chat on there. Appreciate you, BKH. So
Carlos,
we got Real Talk Productions in the chat. I got a conversation with him. It's going to drop. It may drop later tonight. Carlos, it was kind of a eulogy to James Gunn. I don't mean it like that, but it was just like, if this is over, what would we, how would we look at his legacy with DC? So a very interesting conversation. I couldn't have done it without Carlos because he gives it a chance, right? So
Carlos is always the nice guy.
You need those different points of views with that. So looking forward to that conversation dropping. So, the HBO article though, Jules, that was kind of crazy. I thought those quotes, they were just like, oh man, like they was probably slamming phones and stuff when Paramount won.
Yeah, because it would have just been a lateral move if Netflix would have gotten them. They were just, business as usual. But now you have a studio coming in that already has people that do these exact same jobs. So yeah, their jobs are at risk. Especially the big time execs that are making millions a year. That's like, if they're looking to cut costs, those are the first ones to go. So you better make yourself, irreplaceable, basically.
If I'm going to guess right now, before we get to the Gunn stuff, is that I'm thinking more now on the streaming side, that's going to be most of the losses, most of the execs, because it's like, if you're combining the apps, you know what I mean? You may have someone that can do, again, the things that Casey Bloys does. And this is a possibility. And just hearing this leak out that they were upset, I'm like, hey, everybody ain't safe.
Bad. I mean, it sucks, but look, you had a good run. You had like a whole decade as the head of HBO. Like you can put that on your resume. You can go anywhere. You can go do consulting.
Exactly. So yeah, and I really don't feel sorry for him. I'm gonna be quite honest. But with that, real quick, we got this is kind of Zack Snyder related. Where's the doggone thing? Here we go. Where shout out to the Batfleck movie account on the left there. He was talking about the last time Zack worked with Paramount and Warner Brothers jointly was for the Watchmen film.
The universe is just so funny, honestly. So funny.
Very interesting. That was 2009, I think. And so the other day, Zack posted, if you see kind of in the middle there, it's probably kind of small, but Zack posted after the Paramount deal was signed. Zack posted on Instagram the only film that he made jointly with Paramount and Warner Brothers, Watchmen.
And probably arguably his best movie, the best movie he's ever made.
I mean, real talk, Watchmen, man, like I probably need to watch that Ultimate Edition again. Like I
watch it every so often, like every couple of years or something like that. And I'm not someone that watches movies like repeatedly, frequently, but that's definitely one that you just can't get tired of it. It's just so perfect.
It's definitely peak. It's definitely peak. And again, it's literally page to screen, just like he did with 300. 300 is a graphic novel.
That's what I'm saying. Like if he could do that with The Dark Knight Rises,
oh my goodness,
Dark Knight Returns.
I'm just expecting it now. I'm just expecting Zack to be like page to screen, The Dark Knight Returns. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we're going to get. That's insane. Under this new merger, I believe. And not to be left out on far right, David Ayer, it was like a year or two ago, he alluded to how his Suicide Squad used a Paramount soundstage to film his Suicide Squad. And so that's again that connection, Paramount.
I'm in full circle.
It's kind of crazy. I know there's some eye rolls out there, like, oh God, like everything means something with Zack Snyder. Yo, it does. Okay.
But it's just like these aren't even like Zack doing this on purpose. Like this is just the universe doing its thing. Like who would have thought? Like Paramount and WBD producing his best movie, and then then WBD screws him over. And the only way he came back is because Paramount is righting the wrongs, hopefully, and bringing him back and taking over the whole company.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, let's release that Ayer cut as well.
Yeah, I'm
I'm all
curious.
for that. And Schumacher cut. Shout out to the Schumacher cut account. It's just a thing too. Like with this Paramount deal, let's say if Netflix would have won it, he would have been asking for Netflix to, I hope to put it on Netflix or stream it or something. Schumacher cut. Now with Paramount, we can get theatrical. We're talking about theaters.
I don't think we need the Schumacher cut in theaters. That would be great for streaming, but the Ayer cut should be in theaters along with the Snyder cut.
Ayer cut for its star power, you probably should have that in theaters.
It's just more current and more relevant versus the Schumacher cut is not. I'm just putting it out there.
Well, just shout out to again the supporters of the Schumacher cut. Those are my friends. And I want it in theaters. Jules speaks for herself. So.
Look, it'll be nice if it's in theaters. I'm just being realistic.
So let's move on here. We got the Super Chat. We got Neo7. Shout out to Neo7 up there in the chat. Says, now that we know that Paramount will most likely be the new owners, shouldn't the Snyder fandom put their campaigning towards them, despite what some influencers say?
100%. Unless you have ulterior motives and you're putting yourself ahead of everything. If you're a real Snyder fan and that's your goal, then absolutely, yeah. Obviously, anyone that's doing anything other than that is not being genuine about the movement, and they should just be ostracized. I'm taking it to that level. Like, if you can't campaign on Snyder for years and getting followers or whatever kind of little influence I think they have using his name, but then be mad when the best prospect of his universe being restored, doesn't fit their narrative or what they wanted or their little hashtags. Like, be for real. Like, that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, like I said a couple years ago when I, wasn't too sure about just going all in Netflix only. I was like, hey, it's about Zach, right? So
that's all it's about.
What's the best situation for Zach?
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Zach. Like, Syl wouldn't have had his channel. I would never have met Syl. We wouldn't all be all in this stream right now talking about this. It's all about Zach. I don't care about all the other little subcultures or sub-communities happening within this community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, I can't agree more with that. And that's where the energy is at. It's, following the best options, and Paramount represents that. That's the thing that I continue to reiterate. If Netflix presented the best option, you got people that's still saying, "Oh, Zach's going to cook on Netflix." I'm waiting for that Rebel Moon announcement, part 3 and 4.
I would love a Twilight of the Gods sequel. I love the animated show. But where's our sequel? It did amazingly.
Hey, if they come on and announce that, I'll be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, good job, Netflix. 2 years late
right.
that you announced it."
Like, we've all moved on.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of where it looks like Zach, may have moved on too. I don't know, but
clearly he has. He's working on other projects elsewhere.
So that's why, again, just the energy is here for Paramount and the Saudis connection. The actual deal the Saudis has is not just, because the Saudis know Zack Snyder. That's great. They're friends with him. That's great as well. Their actual deal gives them a right to use the DC IP, basically. And they're going to pick Zack Snyder. That's why I'm excited for it. And it's all connected together, right? So if that lined up for Netflix, then I will be, I'll be riding with that as well. But it's not, right? As I have this drop here, Netflix thought they had it, and then it got reversed.
Hold up, stop, wait, reverse the tape.
I'm just saying, it's over. Pack them up.
For real. Like, let's move on, man. Like, Netflix is dead. That deal is dead. Just focus on what we have now. And Paramount doesn't have any competition anymore.
I mean, Paramount, if they follow through with the volume of projects they're talking about, and again, they still want to cook up a lot for streaming as well too. So Ellison's trying to hit this on all angles. Paramount has a real good chance to be, that powerhouse, like you said, like that challenge Disney overall.
And that's what we need. We need a challenger to Disney, and to just stick into the little hashtag situation. I've seen some people saying that Paramount could still give the Snyderverse to Netflix. They can restore it on the platform. I don't know what kind of jumping jacks and hoops and they went through to try to come up with that conclusion, but Paramount is not going to license the Snyderverse to Netflix so they can produce their own universe. Like if they're going to produce it, they're going to produce it by themselves. It's going to be produced by Paramount. Will they license the movies in the future where they can stream it on Netflix? Maybe. Like we saw it happen with WBD, but they're not going to let them make their own Snyderverse movies. Like
they're saying, okay, like Paramount's about to buy DC Warner Brothers
license
and they would turn around and license it.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Like, that's not happening.
Well, like I'll say it like this, like again, just from what's been said to me about David Ellison's approach, right? Because that's why I try to lead the show off saying, like, hey, he wants like the branding, he wants these things to stand out.
He wants those logos.
You know, yeah, he wants Warner Brothers to be Warner Brothers, DC, HBO. So he's not going to give a Justice League film away. I'm just letting you know that right now.
Not even a Nightmare movie. Nothing. Not a TV show.
A Batman.
Nothing.
Like,
no Wonder Woman. He's not even going to give up. You know, if they make another like Suicide Squad movie or something, like they're not getting shit. They ain't getting crumbs.
Because like even the example that was given to me was, you know how Amazon has the Cape Crusader. They got the second season coming out. I was told there's no way David Ellison would give away a Batman project like that's going on Paramount Plus, the super
That's
app.
insane. Absolutely.
He wants all the engagement again on the app. He's not going to give away things like that. He's going to license like how, you know, you have different movies go on TNT or Tubi. Tubi will be something that they would continue to use, you know, but not Netflix.
Yeah. That's makes sense because again, it's already been produced. They already milked the cow, right? They got all the money from it. But they're not going to give the IP to someone else or license it to them so they can make their own thing. Like this is not Sony with Marvel and Disney. Like that's not happening.
Yeah, and it's been reiterated as well. Not only does Ellison want to again challenge Disney overall, because you're talking about across the board, film, streaming, TV, linear, you know, TV. Ellison with the Paramount HBO Super app, which again I was told this a couple months ago, and that's, you know, he's confirmed that he wants to challenge Netflix. When they combine these apps together, they're going to have over 200 million subscribers worldwide. Netflix has 325, so I mean they're the king of streaming, but they're going to vault up and be in the second place. They're going to pass Disney Plus when this deal passes. That's how crazy. Disney Plus lost a lot of subscribers the past couple quarters, so. I'm just saying,
there's nothing on there
to win it.
Disney Plus is kind of whack.
I'm just saying. So he's going for the gusto. And hey, it's good to dream big. Does he mean he's going to accomplish everything? Or maybe not. But just give us JO2 and 3, then you can crash and burn after that. just be quite honest with you. So, but appreciate Marcus for the super chat. More Michael drops. They may ding me for that one. That was a long version. But appreciate Marcus as always. See, I think another one popped up here. Let me go back. Here we go. Says if Paramount picks up Zach's Brawler or Last Photograph, then
or both,
it would only make sense to campaign Paramount. Well, I mean, definitely should be campaigning Paramount now because of the clear connection we see with the Saudis and their deal.
If they pick up both movies, then it's obvious. Like the writing couldn't be more on the wall. Like it's so obvious that they're going to use him for future IPs and future projects. And what better project than his own, right? So anyone who still refuses to accept this, like you're just in denial. You know, I'm pretty sure you never worked on that infographic still, but like you guys are in denial. You got to go through your stages of grief, but eventually, I
did. Yeah, the stages of grief is a real thing. And I mean, we got to think too, Zack Snyder, he already agreed to do that 300 prequel, right? So now we know that's going to end up on Paramount Plus, you know, super, you know, the combined app. So he's going to be in business with, you know, Warner Brothers and Paramount going forward. Zach's
going to be busy. He has a lot of work ahead of him.
In that latest interview, again, I'm going to probably get that up this week since I got so much time. I'm going to cover his interview, Zack Snyder's interview. He hints towards there's a couple mystery ideas that he's ready to go. They just got to give him the go. That's what Zack said. He says he has like 2 things.
He said mystery.
He didn't say what they were. Okay. He didn't say mystery. He just said, I got 2 things that, you know, if they tell me. That's how he said it. He was like,
that's how
he was like,
California boy.
I'll be ready to go. You know, so I only could think like it could be the 300 thing. It could be
Batman. It could be
it could be the jail call, you know.
Jail 2 and 3. Because remember, the plan was to film them back to back. That could still be the plan.
That could definitely be the plan. And now with, again, using AI for AI sets, you can save a lot of money shooting that back to back as well too. Like, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities here to get that done. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's why it's exciting, because again, with Netflix, would have been like, man, are they gonna announce the Rebel Moon sequel any day now? No? Okay.
You know what? No one cares about Rebel Moon anymore. Like, we've moved on. We want Justice League. We want the DCEU back. Like, give Snyder back his baby.
That was wild that you saw someone said Paramount, after fighting to the end.
That there's still a chance to license it.
License it to Netflix?
Yeah, that don't make no sense.
Come on now, man. Like, I'm just saying, people gotta learn how to lose, man. I'm just saying, gracefully.
Days of grief. They're in denial.
My goodness. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to when Brawler is given the go, because they need someone to distribute it. Paramount makes sense. I do want to just trying to touch on this, because people automatically think, because of the UFC deal that they have with Paramount, that the film has to be Paramount. Technically, no. The rights, according to what I looked into, the rights of the UFC deal with Paramount is strictly live events. That's what it is. So if you're doing another form of medium, which theatrical films is deemed a different type of medium, it would need to be a new contract. Now, do they have the inside line with that? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Paramount, would work out something with UFC, but it's not confirmed yet. So I just want to, a lot of people, we're excited. We're thinking it's all lining up, and it seems like it is, but it will be. It needs to be a different agreement.
Yeah, I mean, and it would be also good for them to take on those two projects that Snyder is working on, simply because if they want to hit that 15 films a year, there's two. I don't think they're going to come out the same year, but that's easy to add to the slate, right? It's already filmed. All they have to do is just put it in the theaters, pick a date, and just go with it.
Yeah. So interesting, and again, that's why the excitement is there. That's why you see the timeline has like lit up, like it's like back in the old days. For me, it was 2022 when it was just excitement about every news that came out, and it really cratered when James Gunn and Peter Safran was hired. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm just talking about my experience. Is that it was a different type of energy during that time. Now with Paramount, it just seems like it's kind of wild right now on the timeline.
Yeah, the vibes are very similar, so we just have to see how this one plays out.
Yeah. So speaking of things playing out, one more thing I want to throw out there. Zaz have also had an earnings call with his people, and now he did say, Gunn and Safran, they're we got a DC attack plan, and they're helping to revitalize the IP, really meaning spread out the DC, introduce new characters. That is what they wanted to do. I was told that in 2023 that Superman, at that time called Legacy, was going to be a DC showcase film. Now, James Gunn tried to debunk me. He actually came, because it was in an article. Someone did an article on my report, and James Gunn said I was full of it. I was like, man, Gunn, I thought we was cool. And then we fought on Twitter about something. This real story. And so, and I got a lot of views off Twitter, so I actually had a pretty good check that month. But with that, everyone saw Superman 2025 now. Most of us. It felt like they were showcasing the DC world. I mean, that's what it sounds like.
I mean, they shoehorned enough characters in there. I would call that a showcase.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, that's kind of what it was, Gunn. I know you just had to protect yourself, but I was right with that report. But so Zaza was saying, like, hey, that's what Gunn accomplished. He pretty much showcased DC. So I was like, okay.
He did his job, which was to make enough money to just keep the IP relevant.
Yeah. And that's where we're at now. Ellison's coming into the building. He wants great things across the board. So we'll see how that lands. But Zaz have also pointed out the most important film of 2027 coming up for Warner Brothers post-merger is Matt Reeves' The Batman. He made it very clear that he shouted out Gunn and Safran, like, yo, DC, y'all expanding the brand. Good job. But this Batman Part 2 is very important for them in 2027. As I mentioned, obviously it's Batman, right? But this is that bridge film. I was saying you need something when Paramount comes into the building and they want to implement new ideas. You want that film to kind of carry you over. My point in this, Jules, is that Reeves could probably be that key, like Part 3 could probably be that key for Paramount to be like, okay, we got another event film coming in 2 years after we come into the building. Like it's going to be ready to start developing. So the Reeves Batman, he could be the person to kind of, again, push DC even further after the Paramount merger.
Yeah, absolutely. Like they need at least one DC project per year. So sorry, I just got a text. But yeah, like the Batman would be that perfect placeholder in between until they get whatever the first real Paramount produced DC movie is ready to release, which probably won't be until about 2029 if everything goes very well and they fast track everything.
That's what I'm thinking, Jules. Like, as we say, when Paramount finally moves their furniture in there, you're talking about early 2027, and then hey, let's sell Man of Tomorrow. Let's see what you got, Gunn, right? Obviously Batman, and then any early ideas Paramount has, they're going to be bringing that to, again, whoever is still in head of DC or Warner Brothers, and be like, okay, let's try to develop this DC stuff. So I'm still seeing like 28 for real news to come out, and then you're talking about a film won't come out as early as 29 as far as DC post Paramount.
And that's if they fast track everything. That's like if everything closes on time, let's say fall, early winter this year, and they already have those handshake deals, hypothetically, right? So they hit the ground running immediately. They announce the Batman 3 for 2028. If Reeves can, get some help and fast track that movie, that way that trilogy can come to a nice close in 2028. That way those 2 years they're producing the new DC movie and it's ready for 2029 and we start fresh.
Definitely. So that's kind of the scenario, and it would make business sense, to put that behind a Batman that already has a fan base. You're not rebooting.
And Batman always makes money. It doesn't even matter who's under that cowl. It's Batman. It's gonna make money.
I mean, we literally seen that with Patterson. Like, it's like
no one cares for his
Batman.
He's literally the worst Batman of all time.
Like, I would take Clooney seriously. I would take Clooney over Patterson. So that is what it is. But let's get to the main event here about the James Gunn situation. Now I know Dave Miller in the chat, he mentioned Bloomberg said, they would keep everyone. I think that's the older article, but it has been alluded to again. The Ellison does want to keep these structures in place. So I want to keep reiterating, DC Studios is not being dissolved. And just like HBO is not being dissolved. So he wants to keep those structures, but now who's going to be the exec? So we got this article here that touches on a lot of the Campia stuff, and then I'll kind of throw in some stuff as well. If people haven't heard, John Campia, now actually before Campia, months ago, there were rumors out there. I don't know if I'm sure some of y'all have heard this, and Jules, you can always chime in with that. But there was talks about if Paramount would win this, that Gunn was out. That was months ago with that. And then again, Netflix, it was like, more safer thing. So this isn't a new concept what Campia came up with. It just Campia, I think, kind of went, kind of over the top. So let's get to his quote here, where he's saying speculation mounts that James Gunn could leave DC Studios in the wake of the WBD Paramount deal. So where's this quote? Down here. Says, I'm 100% sure that before the end of the year, so we're talking about 2020, we're in 2026, James Gunn's going to go to David Zaslav and say, it's been nice, but there's no way I'm working for these guys. Now, I'll finish it and then we'll touch back on it. It says, so can you please let me out of my contract? And I think David Zaslav will let him out of his contract. So that's the quote everyone's taking. And according to Campia, he didn't talk to Gunn. This is just his speculation. He's just thinking this is how it's going to go. Let's address that first. That Gunn just would not be able to stand working under the Ellisons. I guess, what does that tell you?
I think it's absolutely asinine and stupid. I mean, we're trying to make it, they're painting it like James Gunn is some noble man of character. Like, let's be for real. We've all seen this. and at the same time, it's a paycheck. You're really gonna just voluntarily step away from a contract that you have that is guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, it says here he would do it once he's done working on Man of Tomorrow. So he's just gonna abandon this project that he's been working on for the past couple of years, not do any press for it, not do any of those marketing that we all know how he loved marketing himself with the Superman movie last year. It didn't really work well, but
I feel like Superman. That's what he said.
Whatever.
That's what he said.
Blocked it from my memory. It's not even worth it. It's a waste of space and energy. But yeah, this is just asinine. It's dumb to think that he is. Again, they purposely gave him only a 6-month contract to take him up to right before the release of Man of Tomorrow. That gives him enough time to do those press tours. And then, from there, the new owners can decide what to do with him. But him stepping down on his own accord, maybe they'll mutually agree to part ways at the end. But again, if one side or both sides agree to part ways, it'll be a clean break just because that's just when the contract ends. So no one's getting fired. And no one's saying, I won't want to work for you. You're evil. Like, that's not happening.
That's just a weird scenario that Campia introduced. And I see people picking up on that a lot as far as why they didn't want Paramount to win. Because, Ellison believes this. Or me and you talked about this before, Jules. But the line of films that Ellison has produced with Skydance, some of them, they would call the films somewhat woke. And actually, some conservatives, I've seen this, that they're like, oh, Ellison's not like hardcore conservative. Like,
no, he's not his dad.
Terminator, Dark Fate. And they keep thinking of Larry Ellison, Jules, right? That's the problem. They keep mixing up Junior with Larry, who has he's worth over 200 billion. I might add, and he runs in Trump circles. So I think that's the confusion. People are taking like, oh, Ellison, but like the long line of films that Ellison has produced, I haven't gotten any hints of like far right type of ideologies in Top Gun Maverick. Again, Terminator films, some of the trash Terminator films. David Ellison produced some of those. Like, he invested in these that people would think are trash ideas but diverse. So all he wants to do is continue that across the board. If you're talking about making money, and let's just be direct, like, you want all audiences to have your products. Like, Michael Jordan has the most famous quote in the world where they want him to endorse a Democratic candidate in the height of Michael Jordan's career. He says, Republicans buy shoes too. Right. So just saying. I don't think Ellison, you know what I'm saying?
They are here to make money.
He wants us all to watch it. Yeah.
They're here to make money. They're not spending a boatload of cash because the Ellisons are bringing in like over $40 billion of their own money into this deal, which no one else was bringing that much straight up cash. They're not doing that for small returns. They're not only doing that to produce content that only half the world wants to watch. They're doing stuff that everyone wants to watch.
Yeah. So I thought that was a very silly concept people were saying. And again, we're not going to talk about CNN again. We already addressed this, where CNN is trash. So I don't even care how CNN has changed. So just kind of we'll just end that story with that. So this idea that, I don't want to work for them, that's where Campy is coming from, this whole political thing. And I don't like that. I don't like that being mixed into entertainment. But anyway, that's one thing. But one thing that's been kind of confirmed for me is, and I already touched on this, David Ellison, he's going to be definitely more hands-on than what Zaslav was. Zaslav gave Gunn and Safran full autonomy. Whenever you're ready to do your script, just don't spend too much, but whenever you're ready to do whatever script you want to approve, or you rather do Supergirl instead of Wonder Woman, go ahead, right? Clayface out of nowhere, fine. It's your show. David Ellison, he's going to come in and be like, I want to, you better help me get this Batman film together. Or we got a nice idea
where are
from
we
this
with this
creator. Yeah, he's going to be more hands-on. And then Gunn is just the way that I'm being told the structure will be. Gunn is going to have to, in a sense, greenlight his ideas. Ultimately with Ellison, he may have someone in place, a go-to person, but ultimately David Ellison, if he doesn't like the DC idea, he owns it. He can shoot it down. This is going to be very different from Zaslav. If that's what Campy was trying to lean, because I felt it was more political, but if that's what Campy is leaning, that's actually true. Gunn will not like this person overseeing him because he was so used to this autonomy for 4 years
Right.
now.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, oh, I want to do Creature Commandos. No, we ain't doing Creature Commandos. What you talking
Yeah.
about? Scrap
I mean,
that.
I truly think that they'll just agree to part ways at the end, if it's even an agreement. I don't think Paramount would want to keep him anyway, and then he'll just go back to Marvel. I've been saying this, I don't know, probably for years now. He's just gonna go back to Marvel. Feige will take him with open arms, and he'll continue making little family fun Marvel movies.
So if it's a control thing, I could see Gunn, like I said, saying like, maybe I won't try to re-up, but also the contract, I think, is the biggest telltale of all of this is he only got a 6-month extension. I still haven't heard a good reason why he only got 6 months. Like I can't think of like, you're expecting the merger to come. Well, then why did you extend DeLuca and Abdi multiple years? That doesn't make sense. Right? So I'm not buying that. I'm thinking Zaslav knew things would change when this merger will come through, and a part of the talks with these companies, they probably were just like, we're not gonna let DC just do its own thing, and that's why I think he only has 6 months. It's gonna be up to Ellison.
That extension came out hot on the heels of them negotiating with both Netflix and Paramount, and that was a decision that they made after those talks. So clearly, both studios were very confident in DeLuca and Abdi, and they were quite underwhelmed with Gunn. I mean, it is what it is. It's quite obvious to anyone with eyes and a brain.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really is obvious with the contract thing, and just kind of hearing this from more different angles, where it's like, Ellison may be like, first he may be like, I have a guy that wants to do DC. Because again, this is what happens with these big money deals. They have, all their network with different friends, and maybe one of his friends wants to run DC. You'd be like, okay, I own it. So get out of here, Gunn. Like, this is a possibility, y'all. Like Dave Miller says here, I don't think it's 100% happening like Campia thinks. Yeah, I don't think Gunn's going to just leave this year. He's going to shoot Man of Tomorrow. And like you were saying, Jules, yeah, that's what he's going to do. Go through that, promote it next year.
And promoting himself, because that's what he does best.
Because he feels like Superman. It's his story. Right. One thing, too, those who are just saying, like, it's just insane to think Gunn, won't come back. His extension,
because it's a new universe too. Like, you can't just build a new universe. Yes, you can. Anyway, sorry.
Well, yeah, no, I agree with you on that. But those are saying like, okay, they have to look at how his contract runs out before Man of Tomorrow even releases.
It was like a whole month before, right? Like they didn't even give him until the actual release date.
That's insane. Like they already knew the release date. Man of Tomorrow, I think, is June 2027. His contract runs out April 2027.
Oh, that's like a whole 2 months almost.
So all I'm saying, how things stand now, let's say nothing happens with the contract. His contract's up in April while they're doing promos and setting up trailers. And then he's going to promote his film as a director of the film and peace out. Like he's going to be done after that. That's a likely scenario. And if those people are saying, oh, what Gunn did so much for DC and, what Superman made. And I mean, again, it made enough. And after that, Zaslav said, oh, just 6 months more. I'm just saying. That's a real possibility.
That's interesting. Like what? I'm surprised they didn't just give him the 8 months to take him to that release date. Like 2 months of the 2 months is usually when they start doing the press tours. So are they even going to allow him to do press tours?
Probably like around May or late April, because that's CinemaCon. So that's in Vegas. So he would start, again, doing more promos. And like I said, if they don't re-sign him, they're just like, this is a goodbye.
Yeah, but usually during on the release day is when they do like the release party and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he's still the director, right? So he's still going to, it's his film.
Independently.
You just not head of DC Studios anymore.
Studio. Yeah.
That's just, and I present this to people. I present this to, Gunn fans because they're like, oh, he made DC cool again, or whatever you want to think about it. That's fine. That's the case. But his contract runs out before Man of Tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
Man, that's embarrassing. You got all these shills like backing him. Like the studio doesn't even feel confident in him. They don't even care to just give him an extension up until the release date of Man of Tomorrow. Like they don't even want to see how the movie does.
I just think that because it's being said to me that's not something to look past. That he only got to April and his film comes out in June, and like they actually negotiated that, like they had talks, and the number they landed on was 6 months. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, that is what it is. Ghostman King says worldwide appeal is greater than U.S. appeal. Gun movies appeal to the U.S. market, but not really worldwide. We saw that with the numbers, right? Domestic Man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to present people with reality because, see, people, they get so mixed up like, oh, if you're a Snyder fan and it's like, oh, you're going to be biased and all this stuff. It's like, no, I gave Superman 2025 a chance. And
You
I
sure
don't think
did.
it's the worst. I don't think it's the worst Superman film ever. I don't think it's the best either. The number is what it is, right? And so I'm just about the performance. And if he did so much to reboot DC, you would have gave that man multiple years extension.
They wouldn't have shrunk that slate. We all saw that slate when he first got hired, and it's just been ever so shrinking every year that follows. And now it's non-existent.
Like this, I'm glad you see his keywords when Jules said, I'm like, I got a picture for that. The slate, which in La Quinta Inn, he pulled this up in the ballroom and was like, there's the slate.
Well, we could literally go through this whole thing. Like Waller never happened. The Brave and the Bold is not happening. Swamp Thing, that got canceled. Booster Gold's not happening. Paradise Lost is definitely not happening. Lanterns looks awful. No one cared about Creatures Commando. Did that come out? Did the Authority come out? No, they seem like the same.
Creature Commandos, I thought was a nice niche animated project that, that's not going to save your job. And like I said, Superman did what it did. And like I said, he got a 6 month extension after it. That's just the reality, right? That's just the reality of it.
They're not even giving him until the release date. Like, come on, guys.
I will love to hear a counter to that too. It's like if people want to just dismiss that, it's like that's literally the situation, right? Marcus says, does Gunn and Ellison have history? Not that I know of. I mean, I think what I personally think, like I said with the HBO thing, I think Ellison, just like when Zaz of Discovery bought Warner Brothers, he had his people, he had a guy that he wanted to do certain things. I think Ellison may have a DC guy and an HBO guy, or the Paramount Plus guy may be the HBO guy now, So I just think it's that. This is business. You're networking with billions of dollars and stuff like that, and they're going to have their people, right? People call it nepotism or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be like, hey, I got a guy, get this other guy out of the way. We got to save $6 billion, get rid of him. He
doesn't know how to save money. Obviously, those budgets are out of control.
Well, but if he licensed the Snyderverse to Netflix now, okay. Let's catch it with the chat here. But that's just the main thing. Like I said, with this slate, I think everyone felt instantly there was a mistake to put out a slate because there's no way you're going to guarantee to make out. You weren't going to have the money.
They were definitely overzealous. And it was interesting too, because when Zaslav first took over, one of the first things he said was budgeting, right? Like he was not going to spend a lot of money. And then boom, here goes the new head of DC Studios talking about, oh, look at this slate. We're going to make all these movies and TV shows like back to back to back to back.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. So it's just like someone said, it became the Superman saga. Basically, that's basically what this has become. It's been shrunk down to. And again, I would just love an answer to why he only got 6 months. And yeah, he has his fans for sure. I would still watch Superman 2025. I know some wouldn't, but I think he got caught into this merger situation. Mm-hmm. And if Netflix would have won, this probably would have been a little more safer. And not with Paramount, apparently. With that. So let's catch up what we're saying here. We have some older comments I wanted to highlight. Do I still have it? There we go. My screen's going crazy. Dan the Man, what's up with you, man? You commented this earlier. I wanted to make sure I circled back. It says, can't be the end. Talking about with Gunn. You don't walk away from a universe you just started. Plus, we need to see Optimus Prime join the Justice League. That would be kind of cool if they did that crossover. I mean, they really should do that Godzilla Justice League thing. They do it in the comics, So, so the idea that Gunn would just walk I don't agree. I agree with you on that. I don't think he was just going to leave. I think he's going to shoot this film, get it promoted, like we were saying, and if he's not extended, you go off into the sunset. I mean, that's a possible scenario. Once his deal closes, I mean, if somehow he gets extended, I will be shocked. I really will be shocked because he already got 6 months. And you're going to extend him again? Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? It doesn't make sense. But this is a chance, though, for as far as Gunn to just end it with a bang before you go back to Marvel or something, in Man of Tomorrow. So that's just my thoughts with that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, you can definitely walk away from a universe that just started. Like, if it's not making the money, I mean, we've seen this happen. We grew up during the 2000s, right? There was plenty of movies, comic book movies that came and went, and they were supposed to start this whole universe, and it never did because they just flopped.
Just franchises, period. The Dark Universe, where you had the Mummy film, Tom Cruise, and that bombed, and they were
going to Dracula.
They were going to do a whole connecting universe, and they was like, okay, we. So I mean, it's possible now. Now people will say, okay, Superman did great. Again, I think Superman did enough. I'm just going to stand on that. I think it did enough, but if someone's coming in and they're a new owner and you're not extended, I don't know.
The global appeal is also just not there, and that's huge. You can't just rely on the domestic market.
Got Kevin Davis saying Paramount will keep James Gunn for now. Supergirl, Clayface, Man of Tomorrow bomb or underperform at the box office. They will let him go, or they just let his contract run out. As David Ellison will put his vision on WB DC moving forward.
Yeah, the deal is not closed, so they can't do anything right now anyway. So the only thing that's really going to happen, the most likely scenario, is just let the deal. I mean, just let his contract right now, because they're still in the middle of filming Man of Tomorrow. They're not just going to stop, in the middle.
And hey, this is how Emmerich went out. This is how Hamada went out, where they just let the contract run out. And they're like, okay, appreciate your services and roll out. I'm just saying that's the scenario we're ahead. Again, if somehow he gets an 11th hour extension, I'll do an emergency stream. Be like, oh, Gunn did it again, but I don't see that happening. I don't.
At that point, if that happens, then we all just give up, and that's the end of that.
But in the comments, throw your last minute comments and questions in the chat as we start to wrap this up. As far as, again, the main thing I wanted to kind of touch on this show, and I mean, it'll be some stuff I'll repeat about, again, the Saudi deal. I want y'all to see the deal again. Like, this is what we're in line for, that they could use DC per terms of their deal. That's amazing that it lined up like this. So that's one thing. As far as, again, the thing I was told to correct on this show was DC Studios will not be dissolved. So I was a little overzealous.
DC, the brand, is not going anywhere. Now, will it be rolled under to just Warner Brothers Studios? Probably. Who knows?
Right.
But they're always going to have the DC moniker in the beginning of all the DC films.
There is a scenario where, DC Studios will still be an imprint label, because all it is a division of Warner Brothers Pictures. That's what DC Studios is. Like, they don't even have their separate tax sheet. I don't know if people realize this. They don't have their own budgets for like marketing. It's all under Warner Brothers, and it's just a nice little label, imprint label. DC Studios. So just keep that in mind. Like, they literally could just stop using it, but they're not. And Ellison doesn't want them to stop using that. So it could be a scenario where, let's say, Gunn's contract just runs out, then DeLuca and Abbey could just assume DC Studios control, right? Just
I totally see that happening.
They oversee New Line Cinema the same way, right? So they have execs there, but they're the green light people.
Yeah, so it's basically a paperwork thing. It's good for budgeting and tax write-offs, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that makes sense.
Exactly. So that could be a scenario there. Or, again, Ellison could have a guy that he wants to run DC. It has been said to me as well, too, that this doesn't mean it's like a full reboot of Corn Sweat Superman. They like the age he's at. And so they, if they're doing like this connected world thing, they would want Corn Sweat to stay, with that. It's literally just if Gunn just leaves with that situation. So keep that in mind.
Tomorrow does well, or well enough.
Well, yeah, that's exactly. All this is a caveat because, I see people, I don't want to just call everybody shields, but they were shields, but they were saying all Man of Tomorrow has to do is duplicate what Superman did. No, it has to do better. It has to push it further.
No, it has to do way more. And I just want to address something from the comments. So yeah, I said when Paramount comes up, they're not just gonna shelve Man of Tomorrow. Like if it's gonna be in the middle of filming or during production, they're not gonna just cancel it. Obviously, they're gonna put it out there. So
yeah, no, Man of Tomorrow, I strongly believe that's, Ellison comes in and be like, okay, we got a Superman film ready to go. Let's get that out there.
Right.
Let's get some merchandising dollars from it. He's not going to turn that down. And then
of
Batman,
course, the toys. Yeah.
So they're going to, it's going to come out. I was led to believe things could be determined after Man of Tomorrow comes out, or even just the early tracking. Let's say it starts tracking like crazy early next year, and they're saying, oh, you're going to open up to 200 million. Then that may be, well, like I said, miracles can happen, Jules, right? And it can come
right,
out.
and that's also probably why they only gave Gunn the 6 months, because that's enough time for them to understand how the film is tracking. They already told people how to expect Supergirl to do, right? We're months away from it releasing, but they already said it's on par. Black Adam type numbers, which is very underwhelming.
Yeah, for Supergirl, they're expecting
so
Black Adam numbers
tomorrow. Yeah, they'll know by the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, and definitely before his contract runs out, it'll be the long-term forecast will probably already be out there, and that's when I'll do my box office shows, and if it's saying 100 million opening, because Superman 2025 opened to like 120 domestically, which was solid. That was solid.
Yeah,
the second weekend was like in the 50s. And it was like, okay. And then the third week, it was 60% drop. And then they was like, we're putting it on streaming. Right. That's what Ted Sarandos was talking about. You want to have more legs than that. And that's all that's being said. Again, people saying it made 624 million. Well, first of all, y'all just found like 20 million somewhere. No, I'm just playing. But
literally, where was that?
But the point is just, Ted Sarandos did shed light on like, hey, it didn't have the legs that they wanted it to have. That's why it went to streaming early. But it made, enough money. So I think both things could be true, y'all. Okay. I know Gunn fans getting mad at me again. But
they just live angry. There's angry people for no reason.
But Parker says Gunn's caveats where scripts have to be top notch. I mean, now, Jules, you haven't seen his Superman, right? James Gunn Superman.
No, I'm not watching that crap.
Okay. Because the main issue I had with the film was it was like herky jerky to start the film.
Yeah,
just jumping. Yeah,
everything that you saw from the trailer. I mean, I know immediately from a trailer whether or not this is my taste of film, and I immediately saw from the trailer that movie was very corny, very childlike. All the kind of things that I don't care for, right? Like I don't really like Marvel movies because they're too family friendly to me. Like I prefer more adult themes, more of a drama, which is why I gravitated towards the Snyderverse. It was much more adult versus kiddie family friendly stuff. But he took it there and even further, like beyond that, because again, we're having all the fart jokes. We see Crypto like peeing on a newspaper with Clark's face on it. Like it's stupid stuff like that. And it's just like, is this supposed to be funny? It was like 9-year-old boy humor,
Yeah. It just, Gunn has a style. And this is what I said, as far as just going into Man of Tomorrow is that I know what I'm going to, I know what to expect. We know what a James Gunn film is now, a DC style, Marvel style. So I'm not expecting nothing like earth shatter. I'm just be honest. I mean, could it still be entertaining for me? Well, probably, but it just, I don't know if is this going to be his BVS? I don't know. I don't think so.
If he hasn't made anything of that caliber yet, why should we expect him to do it all of a sudden? I mean, being on the hot seat does put a lot of pressure on people, and sometimes they perform, sometimes they
level
don't.
Up. Yeah. You may be like, hey, get that pressure on you. Like, man, all of a sudden you see a lot of slow-mo shots in Salty Frieza 420 says the Lantern trailer issues I have are lower base. Suit not made by Ring. That's a good. See, I'm training my brain now to be like, they're not gonna just fully follow the comics anymore. Like, unless you're Zack Snyder, page to panel, it's a screen. So it's gonna be elements, right? So, but that does bother me. The suit doesn't make the ring. Hangs in the closet. Ring doesn't translate alien language in this universe. One ring for both. Hal is dying by the end. Yeah, what's your take on this, Drew? I pretty much agree with everything they said.
Yeah, I
here.
agree. I mean, I've thought about that with the ring, the suit not being made by the ring. It's just everything about it just looks cheap. Like you can tell they're on a budget, but they don't know how to allocate that budget to maximize it, unless they have like some crazy CGI that they're not showing us. But just based on that little flight scene alone that Hal Jordan was doing, that was pretty freaking terrible. So, yeah, it doesn't look good. I don't think this show was going to do very well anyway. But also, just to be fair, I think Disney Plus has destroyed the comic book TV show market. Everyone just is ignoring these things now.
I mean, that could be a point there, because are these really event level shows? Like, do I have to watch? You know what I mean? Like, I can't. Like, is it like House of Dragons? Right.
Right. It's definitely not Penguin level. Like looking at the Penguin trailer, you knew that was like high quality. This doesn't look like that whatsoever, and that's street level stuff with the Penguin, similar to the Lanterns.
Yeah,
night and day.
Now, of course, and it's no surprise to most people, especially Jules. I'm gonna give it a chance, right? I'm gonna give Lanterns
Watch
a
everything.
chance, and so we're gonna see how that lands with me. But I do agree with the lore issues, but I'm a little more lenient on lore, because I'm like, you know what? No one's really following the comics anymore,
right.
so
and
I'm gonna give them that.
That's been the thing that's been the trajectory for Hollywood in the past few years. They're kind of just taking a bunch of different stories and making something more original, because I don't think they want to be beholden to a particular story in a comic book, because you can't please everyone.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you really, with even comic book based or whatever genre, it sounds simple to say this, but you just got to get the best script possible. You just got to. It's about the talent, and just try to make the best show possible. And if it's a different genre type thing, either it's going to land or it's not. I mean, you can't just make something full of comic book references and think, everyone's going to get behind it. You just got to make a bit, that's why I say I'm giving it a little leeway, saying, okay, so the suit's in the closet. Okay.
But anyone can just like go open his closet and be like, oh, why does this guy have a Green Lantern outfit? Like, is he a cosplayer? Cool.
Possibly. So, so I'll give some concessions. I think there's gonna be some good performances in this show. Jules seemed to really like Aaron Pierre throughout the whole trailer. So
I think he had a very good voice. Like it reminded me of Jon Stewart from the animated series.
Yep. And it was like purposely he's trying to like kind of make it deeper. I was like, okay, that's good voice work.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure I've seen him in other stuff, and his voice was not.
He has like a higher voice.
Yeah, he did a really good job. I mean, listen, if they ever do like a Green Lantern animated series, he can totally be Green Lantern.
He can voice it pretty good. Yeah, I definitely. Though I think the most recent one was Aldous Hodge, Hawkman. He did the voice for Green Lantern, Jon Stewart. But anyway. But yeah, Aaron Pierre, I think it's gonna be great in the show. I think Kyle Chandler, he's kind of annoying in this trailer, to be quite honest, as Hal Jordan. A little annoying. Is guy not known by Hal? Weird plot hole already, right? From the trailer. And that's my problem when I get upset about marketing more than anything. Like, what are you selling right now? If people saw Superman, they just saw Guy Gardner. They just saw him in Peacemaker. All of a sudden, there's no Guy Gardner. There's no other human Lantern ever. So
they'll probably just say that he's off planet somewhere.
Right. Yeah, just that's cheap. Very cheap.
It is. Well, that's what we're getting. Superheroes on a budget.
Let's see. Catch up with the comments again. Throw your last comments and questions in the chat as we roll it out. We're not going to push this to Snyder Cut levels. We'll keep this around under 3 hours here. Today, because you never know. Sometimes we get caught on topics and we're here forever. Let's see. I'm just catching up. If people didn't see our reaction to the Lanterns trailer, that's at the beginning of the show. So after this, just go back to the beginning. We'll definitely talk about it some more. But they're saying here they really said to make the show look more high budget, make it a sepia tone, dark, market it as True Detective, but in reality they're saving money. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. So yeah, go back to the beginning. We kind of said a lot of this stuff. So yeah. When is Supergirl coming out? That's June.
Yeah, in the summer.
I'm actually looking to that more than Supergirl. Oh, Lanterns? Okay. So you're more excited for Lanterns than Supergirl? I mean, hey, this year, I'm looking forward to this stuff. Like I think actually, as I always say with the director, Craig Gillespie, I think I said right.
Yeah.
Gillespie. You're just ready.
Because you got me confused. It's Gillespie.
The the point. The director of Supergirl, I like him as a director, and he said he made an anti-hero film. According to the test screenings out right now for Supergirl, or that's happened already, it's that version of the film. But we know what happens. Sometimes that final cut isn't, you know what I'm saying, that test
Might
cut.
get some notes.
Yeah, so and some reshoots or something. So I'm gonna be nervous if there's, because the cut that I heard about, I covered this a couple weeks ago or like a week ago. I like the version of the film that it is right now, just from what I'm hearing about it. I hope there's no reshoots. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, just addressing what Paul mentioned. He might not be the only one with the same sentiment, just because Green Lantern has a lot more fans than Supergirl. Outside of the S moniker, people don't really care about her that much. Like, she's not like she's, I guess, mainstream, but she's not like an A+ hero, right? She's probably more on like the B list. Whereas Green Lantern is definitely like an A-list hero, and people have been waiting for some type of live action Green Lantern show or TV or movie, what have you. So yeah, I can totally see people being more excited for the Lantern show, even though it looks cheap and on a really tight budget.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, we'll see. It's on HBO, so it's got to be some kind of brand integrity after Penguin. You know, you can't just throw anything on there. So I think it's going to be some kind of quality performance there. I do believe that. Will it look, you know, kind of more grounded than it should? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Let's just take one more comment before we close this out. So far, what I don't like, we're going to have a conversation now. No, I'm just fine. What I don't like is that in DCU, apparently, unless you're Superman, you're an anti-hero, okay with killing. No hero has morals. I guess it's to make Superman stand out, Jules. I guess that's what that is.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. This is all going to be over in probably a year.
On that note, we're going to get on out of here. Definitely, we're going to keep our eyes on, again, what happens with Paramount. We're expecting it to close relatively quick by this fall, at latest early next year. You know, why are we excited about it? Again, we laid out everything in the show with the Saudi connection. You know, their terms of the contract is what I'm really excited about. And it just so happens their favorite director is Zack Snyder. So
which Middle Eastern country gets what IP? One IP for for each of the three. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Will they let them have one of the major IPs? That's the biggest. We know Snyderverse is going to one of them, to the Saudi. But what about the other two? What are they going to be fighting over?
Well, you got Lord of the Rings, you got Harry Potter.
But will Paramount let them have those? You know, Paramount's going to want to have control of, you know, most of the big ones.
My understanding was that as far as their choice of IP is more of like an offshoot thing. So the best example is DC, where this is just Elseworlds, you know, as far as what they're doing. Let's say Abu Dhabi wants to do another Space Jam or something, you know, because they're real big into basketball as well too. And they want to they can just do like an offshoot version of it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's under Warner Brothers.
So it's just going to be like multiple universes running in parallel.
Yeah, just the best example
for potentially all the major IPs.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know what's hot in Qatar, but you know, I don't know. They may want some DC too. I don't know, like, you know, overall. But this is all be Elseworlds, you know, overall with that. So
will be interesting. It's going to be a very interesting rest of the year as this contract stuff winds down and they finally close it. The real stuff happens after that. That's when it really gets.
Yeah, and maybe Gunn will get an extension by then. That was a low blow. I'm sorry, Gunn fans. I'm sorry. I couldn't hesitate on that.
Stop giving them hope.
But it's like
they need to come back to reality.
But all I say, with the Gunn thing, is just the contract is very odd, and I don't know any way around that to make y'all feel better about it. It's like,
enjoy it while you still have it. You have a couple movies coming out that are related to each other. You'll get your trilogy: Superman, Supergirl, and Man of Tomorrow. The end.
That's a trilogy. Oh wow, that's tough. That's tough. Well, on that note, we're gonna slide on out of here. Again, this was a special Wednesday stream. I'll be back on my regular Saturday this weekend, and more uploads to come. The drop's kind of loud, so probably turn your volume down a little bit. Much love, Soul Nation. We
Watchmen forever vigilant, steady watching and listening, disciplined, militant, killing these dudes that started visiting. What's the latest word, yo, Sil? We need to know. Tell us what you heard, yo, still, we need to know the ins and outs. Who's walking out, buying in? We need to know your thoughts on what's new, what you do to stream a hell of a show. Let's go. One hell of a show, let's go.